Perfect.
Yes, hello everyone. How's it going? What's the crack? My name is Michael, and this is the Mick podcast, episode number 7. Take too many, because apparently I don't know how to work a laptop. So I hope everyone's keeping well. I hope everyone's having a good day wherever they're watching or listening from. I've decided to try YouTube, record these podcasts with a video, upload them there for those people that prefer to watch as opposed to listen. So yeah, it's quite a subtle and gentle reminder as I look at my laptop screen here that I'm brutal, you know. Uh, as you start to record yourself and watch yourself back, you realise, not the best looking person on the entire planet, but sure, it is what it is. I'm doing it anyway. So yeah, this episode is going to be a bit of a mixed bag. As most people know, I've moved over to university in England. I've moved to the University of Derby, not Derby, as you quite often get reminded, even though it's spelled with an E. No. Discussion for a different time. I'll just talk a little bit about what it's like living away from home, how I've managed to somehow survive without my mum and dad for the past 10 days or so, which isn't exactly the most record-breaking feature, but I'm still here. We'll then go into a few questions that people sent in, talk a little bit about sports and whatever else. There was a few, VAR was mentioned, but I think we'll try avoid it for the most part, because I could go on quite a substantial rant about that, which wouldn't be pretty. I've also had to warn the people in my flat that I'm not psychopathic, that I'm not in my room screaming or talking or shouting to myself, that it is a podcast, that it is for a reason, and just to sort of let them know I'm completely fine. Thankfully, they were all really sound with it, really okay with it, and they don't think I'm a weirdo. So yeah, the first week, first while anyway, it's been great. I've discovered that my mum probably hated whenever I lived at home because food's dear and I ate all of it. So she will now see a massive savings on her weekly shop, and yeah, I'm like learning the hard way that you have to like don't eat all your food in one day. The price of cheese, bit scandalous. Probably my favourite food as well. So yeah, learned that one the hard way. I used whenever I was at home, if I'm bored, if I'm sitting doing nothing, gonna go get a bit of food, gonna order food. Can't do that here because the takeaways are stinking, and I lived off takeaways at home, so learned that the hard way. Other than that, yeah, like I started uni properly this week, was doing inductions and all last week, and I'm doing exactly what I'm doing now, sitting on a laptop, talking away, listening to intro after intro, and like, oh, can you see my screen? I can't hear you, or can you hear me? Basically like what every Skype or Zoom call was like over the entirety of lockdown. So, revisiting that again, joyfully. The podcast itself, I've actually switched it over. So as I said, I'm doing YouTube now, and I've changed like the host server. So for those people that prefer to listen on Apple Podcast and not just Spotify or Google Podcast, you can get it everywhere now. I've changed it so that it's like all over the show. The Apple Podcast one may take a little bit of time to get verified. So if you're listening to this a little bit later than most, then sorry about that, but nothing I can do. So that's really everything that's been going on with the podcast wise. I know it's been a while, and I know I put out asking people what they wanted to listen to this week or what they wanted me to talk about. And I know I suggested some top 10s this or top 10s of that. I'll get to them. I will do them eventually. I'll probably do them the next episode or the episode after, but there was just some more people wanted to hear about university, living away from home, and other things first. So I don't want to clog this out. Like I could do it all now, but this episode then will be clogged and be like 100 minutes long, and even I don't want to listen to myself for that long. So I'm doing everybody a favour. What have we got else to talk about? Apparently this is a lot more difficult to do now when you're watching yourself on YouTube. When you're videoing it as well, you're trying to be engaging and entertaining, which I'm not particularly at times. What have we got? So yeah, the halls, like I'm in halls. This is my humble abode, as I'm sure you can see behind me. It's it's great. Like the facilities are fantastic. The university, it could not be any closer to where I need to. Like I go out and it's over the road, so I roll out of bed, over the road, back into bed, and that's been a pretty accurate summary of the 2 weeks so far. Uh, I've had two deathly hangovers that I've swore will end me drinking ever again. That's just not going to happen. Never drinking again. So it was fun while it lasted, and I'm sorry to all those people that enjoyed drinking with me because it's over. Had a good run. Can't do it. Hungover away from home just isn't the same. When you're lying in bed here and all you want is like to order a pizza or like go for like a nuggelado. That isn't here. I'm in like a big like city with 400 strangers, and I just lie in bed and suffer for 24 hours at a time. So that was the height of my freshers week. I feel like I'm like Granda Michael because I'm 22 and everyone else is apparently 18. Apparently no one else my age. I'm living with two English fellas and an American, all of which are 18. So yeah, I'm like daddy of the house. But it's grand. It's not as bad as as you would think it would be. Living with like kids, but it takes a bit of getting used to. This will probably be a pretty short episode, just simply because there's no real theme. It's just me sort of talking nonsense for a while. I was going to swear, but I don't really know how to edit it out, and that's a bit more work than I'm prepared to do. So I'll probably just move on into the questions and whatever else I got, the sports questions. And just a couple of people asked different things. Like what's the area like? The area is great. There's massive parks. Really great sports facilities like up at the university itself. As I said, like the university's just straight over the road, so it's super easy to access. There's a Sainsbury's, could not be any closer. So like there's university, then there's the Sainsbury's. So realistically, if I need anything, I don't need to go more than 100 yards away from the building that I'm staying in, and it's all so handy. It's great. There's a massive shopping centre in town. Everything that you could need it, and the weather is just like home. So rubbish basically. It's been lashed today and yesterday and the day before, and yeah, not the kindest of weather. So yeah, I'll get out my phone here, see what these questions were, even though I do have some of them wrote down. Christopher Toman, I remember his question specifically. He asked me about Frank Lampard and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who I think is going to get the boot first, who I think is going to be sacked first. Tough question. I feel like it's biased if I don't if I say Lampard, but I feel like the stakes are much higher for Lampard than they are for Solskjaer, because he's brought in this super squad. He's brought in these 6 new players. He's trying to build like a title winning team straight away, and if it falls on its face, I don't think the higher ups in Chelsea, Abramovich, etc., are going to be as patient. I think they'll just scrap, because if you bring in a world class manager, I know it's a bit of a dig saying Frank's not a world class manager, but he's not. Neither is Solskjaer, to be fair. But if you can attract a world class manager to that squad that Chelsea have at the minute, they're going to win. It'll just happen. So I feel like the weakest link at Chelsea is currently the manager, not the team. Whereas at United, it's everything. Like, I'm not going to say, Solskjaer's not the weakest link. The whole lot of it is a complete shambles from the board right down. Again, at the time that I'm recording this, we have like only Donny van de Beek in this window, and he's actually been pretty well. Now I know it's not been against any real tough competition, but yeah, I feel like there's a bit more of a rebuild still going on at United. Pardon me. Whereas at Chelsea, I feel like the rebuild is complete. I feel like they've got the squad that they now want, and the pressure's on. Like the clock started to tick. Mickey Button, I think, has repeatedly said every time he's commented that he feels like Frank's gone by Christmas. Um, and if the results don't properly start coming soon, I feel like that could be a serious it could be a serious threat for old Frank. And I know there'll be a few people disappointed to hear me say that, because regretfully there are several Chelsea fans that listen to this show, and you know who you are. So yeah, I feel like Ole has a little. I feel like he has this season, but I feel like I don't think Frank has a full season to do what needs done and like start winning properly. Um, Aside from that, the Champions League draw was made. I was just asked about that just before I started recording. And it's safe to say that Manchester United won't be doing anything in the Champions League next season, or this season, sorry, if the squad remains as it is. They were drawn against PSG, RB Leipzig, and some team from Istanbul, whose full name I didn't write down because I didn't want to butcher it. We all know what happened the last time Manchester United and PSG played in the Champions League. The handball, the Rashford penalty, and then Rio Ferdinand went and opened his big mouth and said, "Oh, Man United are back. Give Ole anything he wants." And since then, we went downhill really, really quickly. So, I mean, of course, would love to see them beat them again, but that just builds up false hope, because then you start playing in the later rounds. You have to play against the likes of Juventus and Bayern and Liverpool again, who are just going to walk the competition. Even though I said in my Premier League preview episode, episode 6 of this podcast, that I don't think they've done enough. Well, clearly they have. Thiago and Diogo Jota, 2 new signings brought in. Watched them the other night against Arsenal. Superb. It's frustrating as hell, because I genuinely did believe that they hadn't done enough. I thought there was plenty of room for City to make up, and that they were going to do that. It doesn't look like it's going to happen now. Jamie Vardy said no to that. Jamie Vardy scoring a hat-trick obviously during the week, or towards the end of last week, and humbling Pep Guardiola even further. So yeah, it's football is like. And then you add in VAR and you add in the handball, which I've promised I'm not going to talk about, because then you keep going on and on and on. But what do you do? Like we wanted VAR for so long. We wanted these rule changes. We wanted this, that, the other brought in. So much has changed that like it's football like is completely unrecognizable at times now. It's more akin to the NFL, which is everybody knows and everybody complains is stop, start, review, stop, start, this, that, the other. Football is meant to be quick, fast paced, done in 90 minutes, that's it. It's getting away too much from what it's supposed to be, and playing football on a Saturday is fun, but watching Premier League football at the minute can be quite tedious. I know we're only like 3 weeks into the season also, but I'm just going to completely go out on a limb here and brag. I said about Everton, you've heard it here. I said that Everton were going to be a good team this year. I claimed they're going to be 5th. If they keep up this pace, they're going to be much higher. I said it. People laughed at me. I don't like. Dominic Calvert-Lewin apparently is Jesus, the second coming of Jesus, and he knows how to play football. So there's that to keep an eye on, whether or not it lasts. I mean, we're literally only just into October, so I know I'm sort of getting ahead of myself, but we've seen the changes, we've seen the positive changes that Ancelotti has made. So that's one to keep an eye on going forward. So yeah, pretty much that's it. I know I felt like I raced through everything there. University, grand. The classes, what I'm studying, what I'm actually doing is really interesting, and I am looking forward to doing more of it, because it's what I want to do. Hopefully it actually makes these podcasts better, and not as where I can't string a sentence together half the time. Podcast is now everywhere, as far as I'm aware. All the major listening points wherever you listen from, so that's good. It's also on YouTube where you can look at my back, struggling to come up with words half the time. And then going forward, I'm gonna like go back to like doing lists, top tens, rankings, because that's apparently what people like to listen to. Whenever I look at the numbers for the podcast, the most listened to episodes are ones where I'm like ranking things or doing things. So I had mentioned about the top 10 stadiums. I'll probably do that in the next episode, which I might do over the weekend. I also have an idea, if anybody's still around listening. I sort of want to do, I'm going to put this on like social medias and stuff to ask people. I want to do like a live broadcasting. I want to do like a watch along, sort of like a soccer Saturday, but like maybe like a bet tracker or something. So maybe put a couple of bets on and sit on my phone and watch the games, and then like watch it along with people and talk and have people drop in and say, oh, I bet this or I done that and whatever, something live. I sort of want to get into doing like a not stream, but like a once a week like sort of live watch along football thing, if that makes sense. Top 10 stadiums, top 10 cocktails was another one that was added in there. Probably do cocktails, beers, top 10 drinks probably. And then saying as we're getting in the season, and I don't care if anybody tells me it's too early, Christmas songs, 100%. So Aisling, my girlfriend, is, well, as am I, like, massive Christmas fan. And I was telling her I was going to record a podcast, and she said do it on Christmas songs. So I said fine. I'm not doing it right now because we're only in October, but closer to the time, I think we'll compile a list, top 10, 20 Christmas songs of all time, and you're not allowed to disagree with me because I already know what my number one song is. And anybody who knows me on a personal level knows what my favourite Christmas song is. So that was a lot of rambling, a lot of rundowns, up downs, left rights. Thank you so much, obviously, for listening, wherever you're getting it from. If you've watched the YouTube episode, thank you. Let me know how it is. I know the quality's not great. I'm just using the webcam on my laptop. I'll maybe get like a different camera or something that I can plug in and not make my face look as grainy. But then again, resultingly, I will look more brutal. So, catch 22 and all that. Yeah, hopefully something live-ish over the weekend, a new episode, hopefully once a week now that I've got this set up and sort of warned off my flatmates that I'm not a psychopath and that they understand that I'll just be in my room talking to myself often enough. And yeah, that's it. If anyone has any questions, anything they want to ask, at MichaelLowry98, Instagram, Twitter, the whole lot. Keep interacting on Facebook because that helps a whole lot as well. And I will see you all in the next episode of the Mick Lav podcast.
Perfect.